Today is Tuesday, January 6th, 2026, so welcome back to the second half of the school year. Tonight is the Student Services Committee for the School District of Waukesha, and just would like to verify that the meeting has been properly posted.
Yes, it was.
Excellent, very good. So we are moving into our opportunity for public comment. We do have two speakers tonight. So because there are less than 6 speakers will be notified at 3 minutes, but allowed up to 5 minutes to complete their comments. We expect all speakers to honor our time limit, refrain from using any inappropriate language, and be respectful in their comments. Speakers who do not meet these expectations may be prohibited from speaking at future board or committee meetings. Speakers are here to address the board, not the audience, and the school board and this committee does not endorse any comments made by the members of the community here tonight. We would like to remind our community members of the impact of their words on others and that our children are watching. We commit to communicating with you in respectful and productive ways and ask that you do the same. We also expect the audience will be respectful of the speaker and of the board and refrain from responding with any verbal comments, cheering, applause, or other behavior that may detract from the meeting. Please note that no obstructions can be created between the board and the audience. Visual aids cannot be used, and the area behind the speaker and podium will remain clear during public comment. In order to respect our speakers, participants, please silence your cell phones. Our first speaker tonight is Becky Gilligan.
Okay, hello. All right. I'm the parent of a Horning Middle School dual language student. I have not actually been able to attend any of the meetings in person yet. This is my first one, but I have been, completing the surveys that have been submitted to me by the district, and I've been following the Optimizing Our Future plans really closely. Me and my daughter were blindsided by the planned closing of Horning as a middle school. But the lack of transparency aside, the accelerated timeframe for such a monumental change has been one of the most concerning parts of this whole plan. Remember, you are uprooting and rearranging thousands of students and hundreds of faculty members, and the concern for how this has affected everybody has come across, honestly, as lip service. You have not been able to answer simple questions about how transportation will be affected as neighborhood schools close. You have to redesign a school that was remodeled less than a decade ago to accommodate elementary school students, and you only are going to have 3 months over the summer to get it done. This time frame leaves no room for any unforeseen complications or planned changes. Besides the unrealistic time frame you have proposed is the issue of overcrowding in middle schools. I saw some perspective data released showing middle schools at 101% capacity. It's common sense that overcrowded schools and classrooms have a negative effect on both the students and the teachers, but I actually did want to come and actually look at some real data to back this up. So I did a literature search myself, and I found 2 meta-analysis literature reviews that state that overcrowding in classrooms lead to difficulty concentrating, less student participation, a lot of extra noise and activity that can also lead to not being able to focus on what the teacher is teaching. And it increases the struggles that kids from lower socioeconomic backgrounds and as well as kids with special needs have to overcome. The same articles report teachers in overcrowded classrooms struggle to give students individual attention that they need. And furthermore, teachers struggle to provide meaningful feedback and finish the lesson that they actually plan to teach during their class period. All of this leads to poor academic performance, which I'm sure everybody wants to avoid that, especially since the public statements put out by the district have always, mentioned that we have better academic performance than previous, school years. So you don't want to sabotage all the progress, right, in academic performance. And I know you all are, intelligent professionals who work outside of, the school board.
2 minutes.
But all these decisions and poor planning just don't reflect this. It contradicts it, and it's very confusing to me as, somebody who does research and is also involved in a lot of planning and implementation of different interventions for quality improvement. In conclusion, this change will affect the student's ability to learn and the faculty's ability to teach in all grade levels. And I implore you to slow down and do the impact study so you have the opportunity to mitigate as many negative effects of this major upheaval as possible. Also, I can provide the references per anybody's request. One of them is Vickelli et al. And the other is Bono et al. Are the authors, but I can provide the full articles if you guys wanted to see those two, where I got my information. That is it. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Our second speaker tonight is Helen Bashara.
Hello again. So in the past couple of board meetings, not the last one because I had a final exam I was taking because I'm a full-time student, but I have spewed a whole bunch of little facts and data points at you guys. When meeting in person with a couple of you guys, I've also spewed a lot of numbers, and that's not what I'm here to do today. I want to just give you guys kind of the lived experience of parents at Hawthorne. As you guys know, yesterday, the open choice window opened up for enrollment, as it's open from yesterday to the 30th. And I am in a group chat with several moms at Hawthorne. I want to preface this by saying every mother in this group chat is very proficient in English. And so it isn't a translation issue, as I know I've spewed that at you guys several times in the past, but every single person who is confused in this group chat is very proficient in English. So I wake up yesterday morning to a mother saying, remember, today is the start of the school choice window, so fill out the forms. The school assignment emails we received were all over the place. Mine turned out to be wrong, and the school preference form they sent out is not the school choice application, so check your emails carefully. Parent number 2, thank you. Parent number 3, I just heard the same thing from someone else. The assigned dual language site in the email and the school search website did not match what was in the form this morning. I haven't looked at mine yet. Parent number 4, mine was a hot mess. Parent number 5, y'all received an email from the district this morning? I just checked my email and haven't received anything from the district today. Last email I got was the transportation update on the 2nd, and there was no form in that email. Parent number 1 again. We didn't get a new email. We had to go through the old emails to fill out the form. Preference and school choice. That opened up at 8 a.m. today. Another parent, because that's not confusing at all. Nope. Did they say the school choice is no longer prioritized by who submits first? The dual language application used to be that way. I'm quite certain that they said in some meeting that there would not that they were not going to do that now, but would like to see it in writing somewhere. I haven't seen it in writing. Another parent. They did write out somewhere the priority of choice and that it was not based on order submitted. Parent number 1 again. I thought, that one actually, she accidentally texted the wrong group chat and sent another message. So that one doesn't pertain to this group. And then I sent a screenshot of an email back in December of the prioritization
2
of
minutes.
the group, of how it goes to answer. It was in writing, but I had to sift through a ton of emails to get that information to that parent. Parent number 1 said, thanks. Couple liked the image. And so another parent then said, so apparently the school assignments we received when we logged in this morning may be wrong too. I just called enrollment. Our school assignment is actually different. Here's the number so you guys can call. Enrollment told me that admin did not communicate with them before sending out all the emails we got, and that people should call to double check where they are enrolled. Another parent, this is ridiculous. Another parent, it is. Another parent, she encouraged me to call or stop by, but why not fix the error? Why not just deal with it in the first place? Another parent, what question mark exclamation point? They cannot make this any more confusing. And that was my group chat yesterday. So I showed up here today because that's just the open choice window. And when I heard that tonight's meeting is about transportation and the fact that we as parents don't have transportation information, it's just adding to that confusion. And I find that that is completely and utterly
30
unacceptable.
seconds.
And that's why I'm here today, is to just give you guys that lived experience. Thank you.
Thank you both for those comments. We are unfortunately not going to be responding directly to those. So we'll move into our action items for this evening. The first is the approval of the minutes from the December 2nd, 2025 meeting.
A motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Koenig and seconded by Ms. Kozlowski. Is there any discussions or comments? All right. So all in favor of the approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes 5-0. We'll move into our discussion and information items. Our first one is the switched adapted toys for early childhood, and I will hand that off to Mr. Pat to introduce.
Thank you, Mr. Harland. So our first item tonight is about some collaboration between our Assistive Technology Department, the South Engineering Academy, and our Early Childhood Department. So I'm going to turn it over in just a little bit to Hadassah Robinson to make all the introductions and go through things. I specifically want to welcome Asher Davey, who is here tonight, a South Engineering Academy student who is a senior and has been part of this project. So we just really appreciate him and his comments with us tonight. So I'll turn it over to Hadassah and the group.
Good evening, everyone. I'm really excited and proud to introduce this team. We have embarked on a partnership together that we hope to continue. I'm going to have all of the team come and introduce themselves. I was practicing last names, and they were teasing me all afternoon. So I'm going to have everybody that participated in the partnership. Jess Parley-Ayer is our occupational therapist for the district, but she also oversees our assistive tech and our special education services, and so she's going to be starting up the presentation. I'm going to have the Prairie team and our special education teachers introduce themselves.
I can go first. I'm Emily Kopczynski. I'm the early childhood special education teacher at Prairie.
I'm Abby Haldeman, and I'm the kindergarten special education teacher at Prairie.
I'm Sarah Rear. I'm the early childhood special ed coordinator for the school district of Waukesha, and very impressed with our team and everything they've done for this project.
No, I think you have a microphone. You have a microphone.
I'm Jess Parlier. I'm an occupational therapist and assistive technology specialist for the district.
Yeah.
I'm Asher Davey, a student from the Waukesha Engineering Preparatory Academy.
And I'm Evan Risky. I'm a teacher in the Waukesha Engineering Preparatory Academy.
So I just prepared a very quick slideshow to give you guys a little bit of an overview of this project. We do at the end have a really cool video that actually a student at South who works a lot in the multimedia projects in the building, she put together a video just to kind of show some highlights from this project, so we're excited to share that. And then obviously if you guys have any questions.
that lens.
Hey, Jess, I'm just going to interrupt. There's no sound, Dr. Siebert, for the audience that's watching live.
I'm sorry. I suppose these are here for
Jess, it's
a
not,
reason.
it's not you.
Yes, you gotta reset. I think we gotta restart.
Are we good to continue to go where we left?
This is really good stuff that I want people to at least be able to.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Are we okay to go from where we left off? Okay. So as you can see, there's a list of skills here that all of us as therapists, as teachers, can utilize a switch-adapted toy from a lens that I'm focusing on as an OT, as a teacher might be focusing on from a special ed lens. All of these skills are things that we're able to touch on through that same common tool of a switch-adapted toy. So when I started exploring different options for switch-adapted toys, one of the biggest barriers I was running into was cost. What you see here are toys that our engineering program modified, but if I were to go buy this off the shelf, commercially adapted for a switch, it could cost anywhere between $50 to $200. In addition to the toy itself, you also need a switch in order to operate it. And this button that serves one primary function costs $150. So as you can imagine, the cost gets very exponential, and we would never expect a student to play with one toy and that same toy all day long, every day. So we want to give our students variety. We want them to be able to choose what different toys they would want to interact with. Enter the engineering program. I follow a gentleman on YouTube who makes videos of him showing you how to switch adapt a toy. And as I was watching these videos, I realized two things. Number one, I did not have the skill set to switch adapt a toy. But number two, I did feel like someone with foundational knowledge could follow along with what he was doing and adapt a toy that he was buying off the shelf from Walmart for $20 versus the $50 to $200 that I would have to pay online. So I approached Mr. Risky. I will say not only was he willing, but very much excited and passionate about this project. And it kind of stemmed from there. I will say his class took this project a step further, and they actually 3D printed some switches for us. Like I said, this cost roughly $150, I think $155, I Googled that today. And I think we totaled this up to be less than $5. And comes in way cooler color options. So, I do want to show the video. We can certainly take questions after that. I don't know, Mr. Risky, if you had anything to add in this particular moment?
Right now, no.
Okay, all right.
So initially we had somebody from the district reach out to us about switch adapting a bunch of children's toys. And she came in, she showed us a bunch of videos of somebody else that does this. And she asked if that was something that we can do. She directly works with 4K students in the district. And a lot of them have certain physical and mental disabilities, so they can't necessarily use children's toys the way that most children can. So we got inspired off of that and picked up the project in order to do that for her and her students. So initially, we were shown the videos of somebody else that has switch adapted these toys, and we decided to obviously go along with the project. So we received the toys, we pulled the toys apart, and figured out where the power source stems from. And most of these toys, it's just a really basic button. Push the button, the toy does whatever it's supposed to do. So we had to unscrew and basically take the toy apart, and then rewire that power source to a headphone jack. And all this is there's a button that has a male adapter, headphone jack, and then the toys have the female adapter. Plug those two right in, you push that button, and then the toy does whatever it's supposed to do. So we had to take everything apart, figure out where that power source is, and then just kind of solder some things together, and then put it all back together, make sure that it worked. Yes, so initially, I asked my students if they were familiar with soldering. Some of them said that they were. Some of them said that they weren't, so we had to go over soldering again, and just making sure that, you know, everybody knew how to solder, they knew how to solder correctly, they weren't gonna just kind of burn everything up. And then some of the other toys had multiple buttons to make the toy do whatever it wanted to do or it was supposed to do. So we had to essentially wire up a couple different adapters to the toys, and that was a little bit of a challenge. But we all got it done. We got it good to go. They love them. They love them. So the really cool thing, and this is kind of stems back to your first question on like why we did this. A lot of these toys you can buy switch adapted toys, but let's take a normal children's toy that you can buy at the store for $20. If you want to buy it switch adapted, it's now upwards of $75, you know, sometimes even $100 for these toys just to have it wired up to a button. So we wanted to kind of make that a little bit easier of a process. The kids absolutely love the toys. They're having a great time with them. They just came and picked another one up today. So we're going in next week, Thursday, to kind of see them in action playing with the toys, and we're all really excited to see it. So this is a huge connection between the Engineering Academy and now this group that we're doing this with. This is also real world engineering. So this isn't something that, you know, we're just designing on a computer and kind of piecing it together as we go. Like, this is real life engineering. So not only do the students get to experience that real life aspect, but we're doing it for a real purpose and we get to see it in action. So this is a huge connection for the Engineering Academy. This is a huge connection for these students. I always tell them that this is something that they can put on their resumes because this is really, really good, no matter what kind of field that they're going to go into, whether it be engineering or not. Just the fact that these students switch adapted toys for kids with disabilities, like that's huge. So just kind of all of that.
Yeah, so you can see some of that footage. Once the toys were done, we had, I think, about a dozen South engineering students that had worked on the project that were actually able to visit Prairie and interact both with the toys, with the students, and kind of see their work in action and the impact that they had on some of our littlest learners, which was, I think, powerful on both ends of the spectrum, which was really cool. But what questions do you have?
This is fantastic. So just in quantity, I'm interested, how many toys were we able to switch adapt?
So we did 6 toys,
Okay.
And we were able to finish all 6 of them within one day. It was about 3 hours that it took us to do that. And this is something that we established that we want to do this every year. And I said that next year we can do a lot more than 6 toys. I said I would be more than happy to do 20 minimum, and make this a much bigger project for everybody. Because like I said, this is a very real world aspect of engineering that these kids get to experience, and it's for a great cause. So yeah, six toys this time, more in the future.
No, it's outstanding, and that was my second question, is this longevity to this so that we can keep it up? We didn't talk a whole lot. What was the student response?
The big students or the little students?
Both. Yeah, I'll take both.
Because I think in talking to Mr. Risky, I think they both equally had just as much fun with the toys.
I'm going to have the special education teachers share the students' reactions.
My little ones were 3-year-olds, and they loved all the toys. And a couple of the videos, you can just see like all their faces like light up and stuff. It's so cute to see. Another thing I think was the best for me was just seeing the high schoolers like interact with their young ones. They were so respectful, and it was like the best thing to see. So.
Yeah, it was really incredible to see, especially our students with the larger physical disabilities and who are nonverbal. You could kind of see on their face and their body language the excitement that they got from being able to play with the toys with their peers. It was also a great social component of allowing them to parallel play and play back and forth with their peers in a different way, because that's not always an option for them. And again, it was also incredible for us just to see the community that we have and the amazing staff that come together for these kids. So that was awesome too.
Wow, thank you, everyone. This was incredible. The collaboration between the big kids and the little kids, it was incredible. It makes me so proud. I was just wondering, when it comes to toys, like, what are some of the criteria that you look for that, would allow a toy to be able to be, modified in that way? And what are some toys that you have found just don't always work well with that idea?
So I would say as of right now, I have not found any toys that we cannot switch adapt. Realistically, there's any toy on the shelf we can grab, we can buy, and we can switch adapt these. As long as we have screwdrivers and a drill and the soldering capabilities, we can do it. Yeah. And like it was mentioned before, just the components that we had to purchase to do this is nowhere near the cost of buying these toys that are already switch adapted on the market. So that was great.
Just to comment really, just wow. I mean, really, congrats to all of you. That is just amazing. And the fact that it only took you a day to do 6 toys, I mean, really kudos to all of you. Congratulations. This is amazing, and I'm super excited to see what the next 6 toys are.
Before we end, I just want to highlight our early childhood and our related services. These are the moments that, when we're in this position, really fulfill the job, because we are here to serve kids, and the team that is serving students is dynamic. Our early childhood team is phenomenal. They put their heart and soul in kids every day. Our principals support them every day. And so I just think that this is just a true reflection of the hard work that teachers do to serve students. And Asher is such a huge example of how, just as a system, we're really here to serve students. And so thank you, Asher, too, for coaching your team and making sure they know all the ins and outs of how to support kids. So before we end, I just need to really highlight all the work that staff do to serve. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you all very, very much. If you're able, we would love to be able to share that video with the rest of the community, because I think this is something amazing that we would love to highlight and share with the rest of the district and community.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, so we are going to move into our second discussion and information item, which is the open enrollment projections for the 2026 and 2027 school year. So I will hand it back to Mr. Pat.
Thank you, Mr. Harland. I will get this up on our screen here. There we go. Okay, so here we are, our annual journey into open enrollment. Per Board Policy 5113, we annually have to review our open enrollment seats and declare projections for that. That also follows Wisconsin State Statute 118.51. The open enrollment window starts February 2nd and goes through April 30th. That is a state window, and obviously all districts comply when it comes to that. So we'll talk about that here moving forward. And so the projections that we have up top or up on the screen. I want to highlight the second paragraph of our projections. What it says is that please note that the attached chart sets the minimum number of seats available at each grade level, given projected enrollment and staffing information, but does not limit the administration's ability to open more seats as they become available. So what you'll see is different projections than what we've had, where we have 4K projections for 20 seats allowed, and whatever we put there for a projection, we have to honor if we put it there. And so with the changes in our boundaries and our optimizing the future work, we obviously have less buildings with more students who will be in them. So we have declared 0 across the board when it comes to open enrollment seats. Now, that does not mean that we do not have students should open enroll to the school district of Waukesha, and we potentially have seats available. We need to see where everyone lands first, which is how the process goes to ensure that our school district boundary students have places at all of our schools, and then we see what room we have, and then we can open that up for open enrollment individuals. So anyone who's watching this, it says 0, that's a projection, and that's a number where we start, and then we open seats up accordingly after all of our in-district students get where they need to be. So the other thing we do is we project for special education, and those are also 0. That's something that we have done year after year. When it comes to special education services in our school district, we continue to increase in our percent of students who receive special education services, which we continue to add more resources, and students are all different, and they all have different plans, different IEPs. So generally, we don't have the resources to service students who have IEPs who open enroll from other districts. So we have been at 0 for many years when it comes to special education services. In previous years, we have had many grade levels that have been at 0 for open enrollment projections. Generally, our lower grade levels have had larger projections, and our high schools have had some projection as well, not very many, but we are, once again, moving that to 0 and then opening things up after we move through this process. So, what questions do you have?
So because we're declaring 0, which based on the grade level is different from what we've done previously, and we obviously can still accept students that are just having to go through or wait until we identify the actual number of seats. Is there any further steps that the district is benefited from of having or being able to, I guess, look at the incoming open enrollment students other than just putting them on a wait list for strictly capacity reasons? Is there any other potential benefits for these projections?
Our students who, I think the one thing is it allows us to get before we're declaring blindly, we are required to have that many individuals apply to us, regardless of their status or where they come from. By having 0 and being consistent with our process and reviewing those students, it allows us to, again, have our in-district students get where they need to be, really have a better handle on what opens up accordingly after all these changes, and then we can open up to the wait list of students to start to bring them in. So it instead of being beholden to a number, it allows us to really get a more accurate understanding of our district students in the seats we have.
Go ahead.
So I get the philosophy and the structure of what we're doing here. How many people are currently waitlisted? And then my second question is, how many people open enrolled last year?
We don't have anyone currently waitlisted because open enrollment will start February 2nd, and then we'll end February 2nd. We'll start February 2nd and April 30th, and after that we will have our students who are open enrolled. I do not have the numbers in front of me of last year who open enrolled to the district and who was denied from the district. That is something that I will have to provide at a different time. But that, when that window opens, that's when students, or students from the outside, and that's for new students. So any of our students who were open enrolled prior to and given and approved for open enrollment are now our district students. So they have a place in our district moving forward. This is for all new families who come to our district who would open enroll. Current families do not have to reopen enroll on an annual basis. It's a one-time process if you are accepted, and then you move forward as a student within our district once you are accepted.
Thank you for that clarification.
So by placing the zeros, in essence, what you're doing is we're going to place all of our existing students in, within the district and have the opportunity to see where the chips fall, where the students end up, and then at that point, we may have open seats in varying grade levels. By putting 0, then, like you said, that's a reason that we're not being held to that number, and at that point, we'll know when we have the openings, we'll be able to declare them.
Correct. An example would be as if we had 10 seats at second grade, and we are really full in second grade to the numbers we want to have for a good educational environment. That might mean that students would, it would add 2 or 3 more students potentially, right, that we would have to allow once we declare that number. So it gives us, again, a starting point of 0 where we can open it up once we have everyone placed. So, yes.
Thank you.
And then, Mr. Pat, is this pretty typical every year as far as the zeros go? Is this kind of what we typically provide for open enrollment on the open seats, or has it looked a little different in the past?
It does vary from year to year, as I was stating. Let me find my papers here. So as I was saying, last year at the lower levels, K4, we were around 45 was projected for us to, for seats, 16 for kindergarten, 29 for first grade, 6 for second grade, 20 for third grade, 0 all the way up until 8th grade. So as I said, it's been very common at many of our grade levels. 32 in 9th grade, 15 in 10th grade, and then 11th and 12th grade were also 0. That was last year, 24, 25. I'm sorry, that was 2 years ago, because I was declaring for that. Last year, we were very similar, 45 for K4, 5 for kindergarten, 33 for first grade, 0 for second and third grade, 15 for fourth grade. We had some room there projected. 0s up until 9th grade again, and last year we had 20 at 9th grade and 15 at 10th grade.
So this really is kind of a level of protection for those students that are coming in to enroll right now, our current students. Is that what I'm seeing then, pretty much?
We just, again, with all the school
Yeah.
choice and movements
Right.
and things, we just want to ensure that everything is taken care of first before opening anything up with our projections. Again, everything is projected, so it allows us to reproject at a later date
Okay.
when we have everything settled.
Perfect, good, yeah.
Could you speak a little bit more deeply to how this then would flow for a student outside the district that potentially would want to go to the STEM academy? They would still follow this process, they would get added to the wait list in the same manner and then go through a later lottery, correct?
Correct. So they would apply for open enrollment, and then they would apply through STEM and go through their process, and they would have to be accepted as an open enrollment student and then also accepted at STEM through their process.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much for that information on that, and we will move into our third and final subject tonight, which is enrollment and school choice update. So once again, back to Mr. Pat.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Harlan. Let me see here, make sure I get So I just wanted to go back to our school choice, really talk about that to provide clarity once again for where we are at when it comes to our communication around school choice and where things are at. We opened it up as is known yesterday, and I'll give you the numbers of where we are and just kind of take you through the information that was provided. So the first communication around really this entire process was the last Student Services meeting on December 2nd, where I projected a presentation with a couple of slides to talk about the dates, talk about where our students who are currently school choiced will have to reapply across the board for K through 7th grade as they're moving on to the next grade. And that started there. Then that followed up with our December, that was at 12/2, and that followed up with our December 11th communication, where we talked about priority considerations, school choice. So just to preview a couple things around that letter, obviously we have our new boundaries, and we specifically talked about that elementary and middle school will not automatically be applied, and people have to go from there. We also talked about that dual language would be specific information in regards to that wasn't really impacting our dual language students. So it goes about, talk about our families and what they have to do, except for, again, our current elementary dual language students, which we provide details in the letter about. It ensures that placements are fair and consistent. So we put the choice window, which was the 5th through the 30th of January, 8 a.m. on the 5th through 4:30 p.m., and no late exceptions. We put that the school choice process for kindergarten through 8th grade families will be different from 9th through 12th. So it's a separate form because there is no change in that process. Our high school students are following the same traditional form that they followed before. So that was also in there. And then we put all applications submitted within the window receive equal consideration. So once again, I cannot emphasize enough that the window is open until the 30th of January, and everyone has to that time to apply and to get information. There are individuals who are waiting for more transportation information, which we are working to provide accurate data for, and they will have that well within the window in order to be able to make decisions if that's what they're waiting for from there. As moving on, just talking about really what we look at when it comes to school choice, it is not a guarantee. There is attendance that is looked at. There is behavior that is looked at, and so students have to earn the right to have that school choice opportunity. And then it's grade level capacity. It isn't a school. In this process, you've seen lots of projections of our grade levels. It's of our schools, capacity. It's not a whole school capacity, it's a grade level capacity. So every grade level is looked at when it comes to choice to see if there is availability there. Then we went into and talked about the priorities. So everyone had really an understanding of how we look at those students. There were 3 priorities. Any students whose attendance area of school was changed based on new district boundaries, and any student who was granted school choice in previous years and applies again for the same school. We've had some people reach out to say, we were forced to be able to go to a different school. Why does somebody who choiced to that school before, how do they get the same priority we do? Getting back to the comment of when you're accepted for school choice in our district, you're a district student, you are a student at that school moving forward. You don't have to continue to apply for choice year after year after year either, intra-district choice. So those students have already been there and they have the same priority as our other students. Priority 2 was any student who has a sibling. So we obviously want to keep families together. We understand the importance of that. So we do all we can to try to make that happen. If someone is at that school who is a sibling, they would have priority. And priority 3 would be any student who, for the first time, is applying, doesn't have a sibling there. Again, looking at all those factors to see what room we have. It went on to talk about dual language specifically, and talking about students, which schools they attended, and what schools they will be assigned to moving forward. From there, that we personally reached out to multiple dual language families to ensure they had accurate information through our bilingual office and to see if there was any questions in regards to choice. So whatever assignments were provided, all of our DL families can also use the choice window to go to a different DL school, and that's all an option within the new process we had using a Qualtrics for school choice for this school year as well. So that was the information there, and we started that. That was sent out on December 11th as we moved through things. And so that has kind of led us up to different communications to continue to prompt our families to understand what some of the language we use is. So we send out information for our families to look up what their attendance area school is according to our new boundaries. And that is where they would be assigned to school unless you're a dual language student. Again, back to that December 11th message, that holds true moving forward. Students who were, most students who are at Bethesda are going to Lowell, et cetera, and that continues to hold true and has not changed. That information that came out where students can look up, or families can look up their address and see their area attendance school, also has the regional service areas for dual language. And so because where everyone lives, your address is tied to your dual language regional service area or your homeschool area. There are some families who in dual language already have and know that their placement is, let's say Lowell, but they might live in the higher regional service area. But we have lived up to the promise that we have talked about where our dual language students are going to be with their classmates moving to our other schools. They did not have to apply for choice. And so we just already moved all of them. But when you go to that regional service area component, it might say something different because that's based on your address. We also described that in the communication we sent out to our families, that this is what that means. We talked specifically about dual language and that you've received your attendance area, your dual language school, and that your regional service area may be different because your address is where that is, but again, we're sending our students to those schools, and then they have that information they can change and apply for choice for a different dual language school as well. So that is the communication that we sent in regards to where students are and the choice process, because it was different for some of our other families who now they have their boundary area school and they know what that is, so they might want to apply for school choice to a different school. So the communication was sent out, a link was sent regarding the process, so let me go through that process quickly, and then I'll share the numbers, and then I can have you ask some questions. Usually my... So our enrollment reminder, so talking about what went out yesterday, this link for the entire process for school choice was also shared previously, but it did not work and did not go live till January 5th, but we did share it in previous communication. So this went out yesterday prior to this process happening. And you can see that there's a link on top, which it mirrors the link we sent out multiple times to find out what your attendance area school is, which I just talked about. And it goes further into that, tells them to enter their home address. And it talks about that for school that's listed is the RSA for English language learners. Dual language assigned schools may be different, which obviously I addressed that in that December 11th communication for our DL families. So number one, we are asking families to go into this and they can check when they put their address in. It actually tells them what it is aligned to the link on top where they put their address in and it tells them what their school is. And then they have an opportunity to say, yes, that is my school and I'm going to let you know, district, I'm taking that. Or they can say, no, this is not the school I want. And then it moves them into the choice process. And then they can do that accordingly. So you'll see that on number 2, where if you're interested in applying for interdistrict choice, so it's the same link that takes all families there and they enter their information, it confirms their boundary area school and gives them the opportunity to say, I'm good, done, and it gives us that data. Or it says, no, this is not the school that I want to do school choice. So here are the options that you have. They select those, and then that is entered into our data, and then that is where they will go for choice. So it allows us to look at their previous school. As we said earlier, we want to give priority to the previous schools and the students who are attending there, so we'll be able to see that clearly and make those decisions. And so that was what was sent out yesterday along with all the other information. We have continued to provide information to contact us directly. The enrollment office, day 1 yesterday, throughout the course of the day, their feedback was the choice process was very similar to how it was last year, same number of questions, everybody was respectful, appreciative of the process, general questions that they have in any given year with any process we have done. That's the feedback that I received from my enrollment department, who are working down there, and we have continued to answer questions. My name is on that first letter from December 11th. I have responded multiple times and provided clarity for any individuals as well. So that's led us to where we are in our dashboard. This is as of today, so just want to quickly share. This is the elementary level. That's 341 have requested transfers. And then for middle school, we have 47. And you can see the other numbers are kind of the acceptance of that. So that's what we have ongoing. It was 333 when I came here, so from the time I left my office to the time I was here, we had 9 more people who applied to that, to applied for choice elsewhere. So you can see that we have 800 or 900 students who have gone through the process and declared either they're staying put or they're school choicing, or they want to school choice somewhere else. Once again, I just want to reiterate that our open enrollment students who are currently here, they have a place in our district, but our open enrollment students who currently are here do not have to apply again, but they will then be placed last after our in-district students. So they're guaranteed a placement. It may not be at their school, similar to our school choice, where we go through our process and there may not be room there. Our goal has been and will continue to be having all students be placed at their preference, and we will work very hard to make that happen. But we cannot guarantee it, but our open enrolled students will be the last students who get placed. Let me specify that by saying dual language program students and current STEM students who are already in those programs fall outside of that open enrollment process. It is just for our non-specialized program open enrolled students that they will be placed at a school and grade level after everyone else is. We are, again, working the same way to have them be at their school they were at previously, but just like our choice students, we can't guarantee it. What questions do you have?
Thank you. It's very informative. I appreciate this. I was a little bit confused earlier in the meeting by one of the public speakers and the conversation that went on. So it kind of implied that there was some sort of confusion with something that went out today. So you're saying that this went out today, or was it yesterday?
Yesterday prior, around 7:30 or sometime in the morning time. I don't have the exact time, but.
Okay. As it was, there was an email, I believe, that went out before the break was finished, letting everyone know it was coming yesterday, correct? I mean, the second was the week it was going to come, so it came. It seems pretty clear to me, I mean, that it came when it was supposed to yesterday morning, and it seemed like the process was fairly easy. I was a little bit confused. It sounded like it was a little more chaotic yesterday, but this seems like it was pretty clear cut that everyone got the email and everyone was able to access immediately. Is that from your understanding, that is what happened, right? Everyone got the email and was able to access yesterday?
Regarding this process, yes, those links were sent out previously. Other communications that were sent out, we obviously sent a communication where we had some data issues where some individuals got some school placements that were not correct. Obviously,
Right.
we sent out and have worked to give them the information, specifically looking up your address to just find out exactly what your home school is, and then working through all our communication from there. So yes,
Sure. But as
that
of
has been
yesterday
consistent
morning,
communication. Yes.
Okay, so as of yesterday, everybody received this and the process has been fairly straightforward and going well?
Yes, this process would not have gone, it would have just gone to our specific 4K through 7th grade families.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Good.
Yep. All right, so I'd asked last month for a flow chart, and I can't begin to express how much a flow chart would help right now. So that I think we need to break down the different pieces. So the emails that went out yesterday are for open enrollment. So we let everybody know that the open enrollment window is from January 5th to January 30th. Everyone needs to enroll, whether you're choicing, confirming, or not. And I read the email. I mean, that makes sense to me, but I think that as a parent, when we're going through a lot of these different pieces of it, there's a lot of them that need their handheld a lot more than what we're doing. And especially when you throw certain things in there, such as, if you are currently enrolled in a dual language school such as Higher, but your boundary says that you now are into Lowell, you are confirmed to still be at Higher. And I think somewhere in there that gets lost as we start to go through that. And it's a transition of the emails that went through, and I recognize that there were gaps. And I don't want to focus on those because I think we've got the communication in the hands right now that is correct. So I know where I'm boundaried in today. I also know that if I have choiced to a school, I'm safe. And now if I want a choice to a new school versus where I have been previously, that's different. And I think the prongs of that get very confusing. Like I can get my arms around it, but it took me kind of drawing what you were doing to say, okay, so if then I go here, but then I have this option, but I'm safe here. I think we got there. I'm just trying to hear what I'm hearing and the confusion is, and it's, while it seems pretty set for us, my question is how do we just ensure that we're building the communication so that they understand it? So we've got good enrollment that is starting. I still think that for some, let's just follow, I guess, the example. If I can I'll call Chase the student. So if I'm a dual language student and I was at Higher, my boundary is Lowell, I go into open enroll. When they go into open enroll today, what school does it say that they're enrolling into?
So just to clarify, open enrollment is different than school choice. Open enrollment is a state process from outside the district, so and I know that's what you mean, just want to clarify it. So if, in that situation, on December 11th, if I was attending Higher before for dual language, I have a spot at Higher again for dual language. If I live in Lowell's attendance area and I go into the RSA, it's going to tell me that Lowell is my regional service area school for dual language. All that came out after the December 11th email that said, if you were at Higher, you have a spot at Higher again, and we continued to talk about, you then can go in and follow school choice. If you don't want that placement, then you can also choice to a different RSA school. So you can go in and say, I live in Lowell, I want to go to Lowell. So you would select Lowell, and let us know that that's where you want to go. And it becomes your home school, so it's a little bit different, but we're basically giving freedom to our dual language students. We are letting them know they are able to go to the school that a majority of their classmates are going if their school was closed, and they have the option to go to any other school accordingly.
I agree. So the open enrollment process, and then I've got school choice that's bundled somewhere within this. And this makes sense to me, and if you tell me this verbally, I can follow you. The problem is that when I log into any of these forms, as we all know, we get lost. And so I'm just trying to figure out if there's additional ways as we're going through this, just to say, reconfirm, the letter makes sense to me, but I'm still hearing the confusion. And so today is what, day 2 of enrollment? 900 out of 10,000?
It only went out to 4K through 7th grade, so maybe half.
Half.
So maybe a 20%.
Fair, okay. I'm just, again, the way that my brain works in a decision tree, I think would have just further been helpful and given them the concrete piece to say, yes, you are confirmed here despite here. And I'm looking at the dates of the communication that we sent out, and there was a lot of it on various different topics, and I think that that's par for the course where we're at. I'm not saying that the volume of communication isn't overwhelmingly confusing on its own right, but it's needed, and it's the same thing every year. This year is just a little more heightened. So I guess at the end of that, I got it. I got there. I'm just asking us to make sure that we're just loving a little bit more on communication, like a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, Carrie touched on a couple of things I was going to ask, but what do we have in terms of a plan for like follow-up communication? Obviously, we have the entire month for people to get this submitted and to make their decision. You mentioned that there are a few people who are, still waiting for transportation confirmation as well. Just to make sure that we're not having people slip through the cracks where email comes in over the holidays or right as they're getting back from break and they miss it, and now all of a sudden it's the end of January and they act like they're finding out for the first time because they didn't see the first email come through. Are we doing anything to follow up with people who still haven't submitted their form, especially in those schools where there's going to be changes because their current school's closing?
Yeah, so we won't follow up with individuals directly. If families don't fill out the form, their attendance area boundary school is what is defaulted, and that's where they will be enrolled. We will be sending out another reminder that the window is open to the same groups of families. We'll do that for high school, and we'll do it for 4K through 7th current students. So it hits again. We'll do it twice prior to January 30th. And then after that, we will get things figured out with who is choiced, what room we have for open enrollment, and then we will put them all into Infinite Campus for their enrollment for next year, and then we will make that live. Generally, that goes live for families to be able to look in IC to see their enrollment at the end of the school year, June. This year, we will have it done earlier, so once again, prior to next year, if there is a concern where something happened, they'll have that enrollment. That will be their place to look at and to confirm that everything has been what they expected it to be.
Yeah, great. I just want to make sure that we're having multiple touch points with families and making sure that we're doing the best that we can to make sure that these families understand that these are the options that are available to them.
I would just add also too that next week is our middle school open house week, and so some of our families maybe haven't completed this because they're waiting for that. So that's a piece, and that's another touch point that families will have at the middle school level.
I'm assuming this is on the website as well, right? This form, this letter for access?
Everything is being put on, under what heading, Ms. Ganderman, if you could help me, since you're doing a really good job with putting that information there.
Sure. We have on our front page now in the news section, we have information about our open houses. And then we have now created a page under family resources that is all for planning for next year. And so there you will see everything from the school calendar for next year to all the open house information, and if people want to print a PDF. And then there's the link to the interactive website where you enter your address. Then there's also boundary maps. So it's just really been a work in progress of once things are finalized, then they are put there. We also have past communications regarding optimizing our future on our Optimizing the Future page. And so if anyone wanted to see that, we have an archive of all those communications that led it prior up to this. So this particular document, if I haven't archived it onto our Planning for Next Year page, it will get done.
Okay, great. And then for school choice, I'm wondering if it would be beneficial to have this a little bit more bold on the front of our website. So have more of like a click button to take you to maybe that family resources section to where they can find this information, so they're not scrolling or paging or anything?
I'll take
like
this
that?
one.
Okay.
So on our website homepage, every school has a carousel. And so for the last month, oops, I thought I was sharing. Sorry. Just 1 minute.
No, that's fine. I was just asking.
So as they talk, what you'll see here is the carousel that's been going. This is on our front page of our website that we created all new images as we have aligned all of our open house opportunities for families to not overlap with each other. That is very important, we feel, at this stage in the game, to really ensure that families have the opportunity to go to as many open houses as they would like. And so as you see, there's scrolling information that now has all the information on open houses. This also then on the school websites, they also have, like if it's South High School, they will have the same graphic that shows all the open houses and then an additional one just for their school. And so we've done a lot to highlight and emphasize these. This is right there on the website. And you can also get to it by clicking down below. So we're putting it in multiple places.
Yeah, I'm grateful that you guys have done an exceptional job with making this as user-friendly as it can for a district of our size with the dates and the key areas. So I'm appreciative of that.
I can go quickly to the planning for next year page. So one thing you'll notice on the family resources as far as the menu was further down. We've moved that up. And then planning for next year resources are right here. And so this is what I was talking about. We have a little introduction, and then this starts all the different tools. They can click here for a PDF format if someone wants to print it out. Same with a school calendar. We have 4-year-old kindergarten information that we typically send out now, so we're also advertising that. You'll see this graphic that's on the left is also on our carousel for our school website. It's also on the 4K early learning page. We also have information about dual language here, as well as the dual language page. And then this gets into the boundary areas and next steps for guardians. And then also just a visual and access to the link, and also just a visual of the actual maps. These maps themselves are not interactive. The interactive part is when you enter your address into that site, and that's what it looks like. So I'll work with Ryan to get the communication from this week archived on here, so families can always go back to it. I would say also with communication prior to this week, after our data mishap, we did start to send communication to smaller groups, such as families who are in this situation. And so if I received a communication, it may be because I was a dual language family, but if you're not a dual language family and you don't have a student in 8th grade, you may not have received that communication. And so we tried to tailor some of the communication to people. So we'll get them all on here, but that was a difference too. As we move forward, we wanted to clearly communicate to specific groups that information, whether it was a call or an additional communication.
And on the website, on that scrolling page, it does talk about enrollment. We'll change that to specifically talk about school choice, because when you click into it, then it goes into our enrollment process, and that's where all the information is housed. So that's something that we can take a look at to update for sure.
Great, excellent. Thanks for sharing this. It's really important to go through this and see it.
So I just wanted to say thank you for spreading out all the open houses. So I am one of those families that is waiting to attend a couple. So obviously with one headed into middle school, planning, looking at our options there of staying with friends or going a different route or whatever that might be. So I think going back to clicking that link, is it confirming your homeschool? Are you going? I think there is a lot of people that are going to be waiting, at least through these open house periods, to be doing that. But I think to Mr. Brooks's point is, I'm sure there are a number of families out there that are in a small subset, right? There's a number of different situations where I'm at the same school, I'm not planning to move, and I'm not looking to really select anything, participate in the school choice process at all. We are still asking those families to go in and confirm their school, correct?
Correct. They received the same information as something to do to help us with gathering that data. And just to give a piggyback on that, when it comes to transportation, we sent to 2/3 of our families in that 4K through 7th grade that if their boundary school is their same boundary school last year that they are attending next year and they receive transportation, they will receive transportation again. That was approximately 2/3 of the students. So we have about 1/3 of individuals that have been impacted by the boundary changes that we are working to verify the data. So just to give you that scope of who is left to look for that information and make those final decisions, that's what we're working on.
So one of the other items, and I spoke with both of you briefly, is the K-8 campus, combined start time, and I know that still has not necessarily been decided. And I think there are some families that are, again, similar to the open house, waiting on that to be announced. Do we have a more detailed timeline on when we can expect that decision to be made?
We'll continue to work with the principals and the STEM governance board on that topic. And the other part is as we investigate transportation options for STEM, part of that is finalizing our traditional transportation that Mr. Pat's referring to, then getting an understanding of beyond who qualifies, how many routes are we talking about for next year, which is a little aggressive for us to be looking for in January, but we're going to ask the bus company to give us that. So once we know we're somewhat in a similar pattern of routes, that allows us to decide if we can investigate transportation for STEM, and then ultimately, if we can, is there any advantageous aspect to tying it closer to a Banting time, for example, versus keeping them at their earlier times that they currently have in the 7 o'clock hour. So in terms of a timeline, it really kind of depends on how quickly we can get first student to turn that around. The STEM open house at Horning is on January 15th. I don't believe we'll have it by then, most likely, but we will strive to turn it around as quickly as we can.
When is the next update? Or is it a daily? Is it every other day update with first student? How often are we meeting with first student on these updates?
Want to go ahead, Ryan?
It was on, sorry. I'm talking to them every other day, validating the data. We're getting the data set, looking at it. We're saying, what about this? What about this? They're finding some things. And then we've had that ongoing, so pretty much every day. Until we get our communication out finally, and then moving forward, they work with a different portion of their company to project the routes and other aspects, so that will be the next aspect where we'll move into that. It'll be as quickly as possible and pretty much every day.
Okay. So. All right, is there any other questions or comments on enrollment and school choice? Okay. Very good. So then we will move into our other business, which is recommendations for future meetings. Seeing none, that does conclude our agenda for this evening. We will be meeting on February 3rd, 2026, back here in the boardroom. Thank you and have a good night.